I'll have several different, we're going to do a little tiny exercise in the beginning. Then we're going to do a small meditation. Then I'll do some readings and an ending, and then we'll open it up. So right now I'd like to just have Meredith unmute us. And so I'm going to put everybody on the spot.
I'm sorry, y'all. I am not as adept at this technology as I thought I was. So I'm going just through the list and asking each of you to unmute.
Okay. Yep. So for 30 seconds, what I'd like you to do, which is something that I think I've been wanting to do and whatever, is I'd like you to make the most ridiculous, funniest noise you can in your whole life right now, just right now, all at the same time. I'm sorry for the cats and the dogs and the kids that we, you can mute us back, that we disturbed. But I think, really, I'm glad I do have a dog because I do that a lot. Just the frustration of this whole time and being inside. And even when we do go outside and we wear our mask and we're appropriate, it's very confining and very restrictive. So take that with you. Just practice tomorrow and Sunday, making the most ridiculous noise you can in your whole entire life. And don't worry about who's watching or listening. So having sort of semi-experienced that, I'd like you to, if you could, just find your comfortable position in your chair and, sit back or lean back and put your hands on your lap and close your eyes. We're going to do a very short guided meditation. So gently close your eyes. And again, this is another tool for you. When you're disconnected and disoriented, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and scan your body. Using your mind's eye, you can either go to the place where you feel the tension and breathe into it and soften it, or start at your forehead because we're thinking too much, we're not being as engaging as we want to be. Soften that brain and move down to your jaw and soften your jaw. And slowly breathe into your shoulders. Soften your shoulders, relax them. You have no weight to bear for the next 30 minutes. And feel that warmth go down your arms and your hands are relaxed. And feel the warmth of your breast. Your chest is tight, loosen it up, soften it. Your stomach might be nervous, loosen it up and soften it. See how deeply your breath can go into your abdomen. And feel it expand. And then down your legs and your little kneecaps that hold so much together. And your shins and your calves and your ankles that bear the weight of that body of yours, and down to your feet, heels. And just scan up and down and feel the lightness and the softness and the warmth of your breath. And know that any time, any day, any minute, even in bed, this is a really, really lovely exercise to just use your breath to search for those places that are tight or don't want to let go, and just softly invite that letting go, that warmth. So feeling that throughout your body, if you can, again, take a deep breath, as deep as you can, and exhale. And then softly, when you're ready, you can open your eyes very softly as well. So I was Googling, first of all, the word joy, which is a pretty loaded word, by the way, but I was Googling resources around COVID. And the body comes up as a pretty big part of it, and I'll get into that. But AARP had some they're basic things. They're things that we all know about, but whether we practice them or not, I don't know. And so it's good to be reminded. And the first is a gratitude list. If we can either write it down or every day say what we're grateful for. And it can be, I was taking a walk this morning and I walk Riverside Drive and I found this little teeny little bear, a plastic bear that kids play with. It was on the ground the other day. And I took it and there's this big $1 million condo thing. And I stuck it right in the middle of their logo. And so every day when I walk, I look at that little bear and I say hi to that little bear. And it really gives me, it's, I smile. It's a little gratitude. It's silly, but it's gratitude can be anything. It can be that we're here tonight and that we're alive and we're looking at each other, which is deep gratitude, or it can be something as silly and innocuous as that little bear. And then the ritual of that, a gratitude list can be a ritual. And the rituals that we do every day that are so cherished, the getting up in the morning, the making our bed. We've gotten back into cooking, which is a comfort ritual. We're back on, after being off the summer, we're back on Zoom on Sunday morning at church. That's a ritual. We start everything that we do here with a candle. That's a ritual. Rituals are prized. And another thing that AARP talked about was dress happy. When you're really in a pissy mood, go get some fun on and wear it throughout the house. Really, just be creative. I saw a little girl across the street from my nieces today, and she had this bright day glow, I'm not kidding you, pink tutu on. It was the middle of the day. She was so proud. And then laughter is a huge one. We have to really laugh. So all of these things are connected to our body, to our hormones. And there's a woman named Emma Ferris who does a lot of work. Her blog, if you will, or her YouTube or whatever, is called The Breath Effect. And she puts a lot of emphasis on our breath. And I know that when we're in tension, we sit on the tip of our breath. We don't breathe it in. And so she said, when we're aware of our body and we're aware of our breath and we're aware of our hormones, we trigger serotonin. Serotonin is the feel good. It's exercise. It's Dan walking 11 miles today. Or dopamine, which is the happy pleasure. It's me looking at that little bear. Or melatonin, which is the thing that regulates sleep. And I think sleep has been hard for us right now. We're worried. We're worried and concerned about what's going to happen in November, about what's going to happen tomorrow, about what's happening in Louisville. And then oxytocin, which is the love hormone. And I hope that you can find somehow, some way to nourish that in yourself. Whether you give yourself a hug, whether you go out and talk to the flowers outside, whatever it is, there's nothing at all that's too silly or too whatever. Just bring it on. And then endorphins, which are the pain relief. And I do think there's a cosmic, psychic, spiritual pain that we're all in. Our future is so unknown, and this virus is so unknown. And so any way that we can sort of boost up these hormones is really helpful. One way, of course, is smiling. It releases the mix of all of those. And then the breathing, the breath effect. And the relationships is huge. Any way that we can be relational. And I know that this is difficult. and then the sense of purpose, if we can find some purpose in who we are and what we do. So I'm going to end with a reading, and then we're going to open it back up again. This is for Rosh Hashanah. May we have a sweet year of struggle and sing and hear our voices multiplied. May we find the deep roots of courage and love. Feel it rise in us like sweet maple sap, simmered in the heat of its hard work, remaking of the world, untold joy sugars our days. Just as honey is made of collective, shimmering wings and sunshine grains of pollen gathered by many. No hurry, no stopping. Let the joining of hands and hearts seep from the many compartments of the comb in a pool of liquid gold. And may the honey of our endeavors drip slow and delicious onto our tongues. And may we have a sweet year of struggle. Our losses fertilize the fields into bumper crops of blossoms. Squashes flower and bear rich fruit, tomatoes and melons burst into flavor. We have all suffered, and those sufferings turn into soil, and may a million mushrooms rise from the broken places and make medicine from our wounding, and may sunflowers clean the earth, and may we embrace the biggest challenge we've ever faced, draw them close, find their cracks, infiltrate like spores, like tiny seeds and moss, and may we turn our faces to the sun and let hard times ripen in us until we're bursting with juice and we're blackberries among the thorns. May we have a sweet year of struggle. Amen. So Shabbat Shalom. I didn't even put that together, but it's actually in that Jewish tradition, it's Shabbat. So thank you. And I'm going to let her open it up to all of us to share our nuggets.
Thank you, Mary. So I have a question here. Did you say that the breath effect as a resource?
Emma Ferris, Ferris. I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you. And there is a question you posed to all of us at the beginning that I missed. You wanted all of us to share something, and I'm sorry I didn't record that. What was that question?
Well, we've all been through so much. And what if we learned? What's a nugget we've brought with us thus far from March until today? I don't necessarily mean that you've taken up a new hobby. And I mean, I know we've tried to learn cooking recipes, but I mean, there's something, the nature of our nature has been changing in all of this. And what's something that has really surprised you in all of this that you want to share?
Thank you.
My surprise has been how much time I've wasted just running around, getting from place to place to place. You know, I mean, when I started just doing my groceries once a week, it's like, why do I go to the grocery store every other day? That's such a waste of time. So it's really helped me hone in to what's important and to not waste my energies on things that are not important.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
I feel like I've been maybe more productive during this time period because I'm like Alicia, I'm not going all over the place, and it has been a time for self-care, and that's been good. I was sort of forced into that because of the cancer to do self-care, but that's been a really good gift, and so I've taken things a lot slower, and I'm building bicycles, which gives me great joy.
Wow.
I have always been described, well, my cousin describes me as the nicest person you'll ever meet. And during this time, I have discovered a deep well of rage that I am learning how to live with and manage.
The nature of our nature.
Well, I don't have anything very profound like some of the other people, but the older I get and the more I see all these people dying in this country, I'm just happy to be alive every day. And I wish I could see my grandson in person, but I get to see him at least on Zoom and stuff. And it's a joy.
Mary, I see here that on the chat you quoted Viktor Frankl and his term tragic optimism.
Well, it's actually what Dan is saying, because Viktor Frankl, of course, was a Holocaust survivor. And he wrote a lot. But anyway, the term tragic optimism refers to, I wish I could see, I'm alive. I'm so grateful for that. I'm appreciating that. But I haven't been able to see my grandson. I have optimism that I will sometimes see him, but there's a sense of loss within the optimism. So it's a tragic optimism. It's sort of dramatic, but I loved the term.
Thank you.
At the beginning of the quarantine and pandemic, I thought I was pretty okay with it because I'm used to living by myself. But as time went on, I had periods that were difficult. And I read somewhere online to just remember Anne Frank and how she, how closed up they were every day during their confinement. And that helped me to just, to think of others and what they've been through.
I feel like I haven't necessarily learned something really new, but I feel like I've enhanced my appreciation for what I had. And that is, I live alone too. And I had that same feeling as you, Martha, that initially I was like, okay, I'm okay with this and I'm made for this and I can handle this. And then I started to sink down a bit. But, I do this tutoring online, people all over the world, and those relationships, that connectedness, that important part that I'm playing in their lives. I could just get really emotional and tearful about that because it is so affirming of the need we have for each other and how similar we are no matter where we live, and we have the same basic needs. I go to bed at night voicing an appreciation for those relationships, and they're all online, and they've been online for a few years. But I want to say to some Japanese man that I've taught for 6 years, and I haven't had the courage to say it to him, but I want to say, I love you, hero. I really love you. And I've listened to the Chinese girl who is so lonely that she doesn't think that her father can ever make it here to be with her, and her mother's deceased. And I did say to her, Helen, I love you. In one of her darkest times, and there was utter silence because I don't know that she's heard those words from anyone for a long time, And I feel really privileged to be able to have that connection.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Mhm. And I feel privileged because I don't have any biological grandchildren, and this definitely fills a need for me.
I think with my delve into my own, looking at my own racism and my own white supremacy and how I was raised, I find myself asking myself, well, am I blessed or am I privileged? And is it the same thing or is it different? And I don't know, one of the struggles, you know, like Dan said, I want to be grateful. I want to live in that place of gratitude, but sometimes it's hard for me to practice the gratitude when I see so much suffering, see so much unjust suffering as well. So that's one of the things that I'm searching for nurturing. And so far, the only thing I can figure is that I just need to make sure I nurture myself spiritually so I can continue to receive and continue to give.
Well, everyone, our time has quickly come to an end, believe it or not. I want to thank you for your presence here today. And before I say closing words, Mary, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, when we talked about doing this, we chose 30 minutes, as I said earlier, because of the fatigue element of this venue. But I also felt like it was drive-by. You know, I felt like that the appetizer tray went by and I forgot to get, you know. And so I hope we can somehow, some way keep doing this, because I, like Alicia said, I need to feel fed. And I feel fed right now just looking at your faces and just hearing, gosh, those precious shares that you just shared. And I just want to say thank you. And I underlined here at the end, thank yourself for coming. Really, thank yourself for coming. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
May gratitude see you all through.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.